Welcome to this episode of GymInformer podcast. I'm Chris Gilbert, your host for this episode. And today our guest is Peter, one of the owners of Animal Paradise Gym in Southern New Jersey. I got a chance to work out there just a couple weeks ago. It is a unique, very cool gym. I'm super excited to talk to Peter about the gym. They've got a lot of really cool stuff going on there. But before we get started, let me take a pause and I'll show you the photos I took of the gym when I was there.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. You're very, very kind. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
How did I become a gym owner? Well, to be honest with you, I've always wanted to own a gym. Really, it's been one of my all-time goals. And once I got into bodybuilding, I kind of had that goal a little bit more and more. And then me and my family were partners in everything we do, and we have a business inside the mall that we're located at. And just being there for a couple of years, I just started chatting with my customers there, anybody that looks like they work out or something like that. And I found that across the board, everybody was feeling forced to go to Planet Fitness down the street because there was nothing else around the area, unfortunately. We thought that's what we did with all the businesses we did. So we have a jewelry store and a furniture store inside the gym and inside the mall. I apologize. And then we got Animal Paradise. So we kind of just brought something a little bit new to the area. Vineland is still on the up and coming. There's a lot of new projects that are coming. There's the golf course. There's a few different things that opened up. So we thought this would be a good opportunity to just get started in this area. And we've had our challenges, but overall, we've been doing amazing. You can't complain, really.
Yeah, the gym's pretty new. Like, how long have you been open so far?
We had our grand opening September 29th, and then we closed for about 10 days to just put the final touches on everything, make sure everything was good with the city and everything. I kind of had the grand opening without getting my approvals from the city because well, we booked all the bodybuilders to come. We had world champions, we had Brandon Hendrickson come, we sold some tickets. So at that point it was just we're gonna do it. So we just opened our doors. We had our grand opening, and then we closed for about 10 days, and then we opened for business October 9th. That was our official opening day.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you've got just like to kind of start talking about the gym, start with equipment. You guys have got some pretty high-end equipment. Like most of it seemed like it was from Arsenal, but you also had some Atlantis and some other pieces in there. Like, what was kind of the mindset or the thought process, and that these are the pieces or these are the manufacturers that we want to go with for our gym?
Absolutely. So me personally, I'm a gym rat myself, so I love traveling around to other gyms, trying the different equipment. If you look at my Instagram, my algorithm is full of gym equipment. I just love looking at new stuff. There's always new stuff coming out. Some of these companies, they're small. They might have one or two pieces, but they're just very unique, So just from experience in the field and just trying different equipment, I definitely wanted to go with Arsenal and Atlantis mainly because I just love their equipment. And we're more geared towards bodybuilding, and their equipment just have this, edge to them. They look really cool, and they're very, very functional, very customizable. They're also isolated, most of the equipment, so you can really work on symmetry in here, and this was some of the equipment. So I'm a bodybuilder myself, like I said, and a couple shows. I had a pretty good career in bodybuilding. I don't know what it's like to lose yet. So
Nice.
my coach always tells me, don't get too excited because you'll get the taste of it. I went to nationals. I got a little taste of it. I was definitely not ready for that. But anyway, I just knew that equipment was the equipment you need to win shows for
Mhm.
bodybuilders or for anyone that's just starting out. It's great to build good lifting habits, and this equipment really helps that because you're not working a muscle group. You kind of work the specific muscle that you're looking to target. It's not just
Mhm.
working the area, just like any the other equipment. But yeah, so we got majority of the stuff from Arsenal Atlantis, and then I knew a couple of small companies that had really cool equipment that I knew I wanted to get. So we only got a
Mhm.
couple, one piece here, two pieces there, blah blah blah, and we're still looking to add a couple more pieces as we go.
Yeah, it was cool. I really liked the equipment variety and the selection, and you guys definitely have more of those like dumbbell assist benches. I don't even know what to really call them.
Yeah,
Um, than I think almost any other gym I've ever been to. I thought that was super cool. Like I wish more gyms had those because when as you know, like when you start getting up into some of those heavier dumbbells, it's hard to get those off your chest or get them like up. And you
right.
guys had quite a few spots where you could really do decline or incline or flat or shoulder press to kind of help with all of that. I thought that was super cool.
Thank you.
Uh,
I mean, to be honest with you, I wish they were being used a little bit more. The only issue, well, it's not really an issue. I don't want to skip a little too far ahead of ourselves, but we built a really cool culture here that no one really feels like they can't ask a random person or a stranger for a spot. So they kind of not being used because the whole purpose of them is to use them when you don't have a spotter. But people
mhm.
are very welcoming over here, so they don't get used as much as you would think.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising because those are so cool. The other thing I thought was kind of unique about your gym is like for a gym that definitely seems to have that bodybuilding gym vibe and that bodybuilding gym culture, because everybody I spoke to there seemed like that was their like mindset and their jam. You had a lot of racks and a lot of like area to do like powerlifting, and you had a huge like turf area. So anybody who wanted to do anything with the turf, you also had plenty of space for both of those. Was that kind of an on-purpose thing to encompass a wider variety of people, or what was your thought process on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there was two different things that we really brought that was kind of new, and I'm starting to see them pop up a little bit more now. But the number one thing that was really like kind of a really new concept where we have that booty room for the women, just because
Mm-hmm.
again, doing market study in my other businesses, just talking to the women, and some of them feel a little uncomfortable when they're starting out, things like that. So we made a private area for them where if they want to work out the lower body, they can feel comfortable in that. So that was kind of new. We put all booty builder equipment in there. So very user friendly, very, very nice equipment. They get manufactured in Belgium, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then we thought about the turf area, and that was a massive addition because we wanted to also be a one-stop shop for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted people that are starting out to also feel comfortable. We wanted athletes to come here. In our training program, we do athlete boot camps. So there's a lot of athletes from high school and some from college come here and they train here because we just have a massive turf area. So when it's cold outside, they come in here, they're able to do different things other than just lifting. And
Mm-hmm.
powerlifting, there is a big powerlifting, well, somewhat big powerlifting community around this area. So I think we got about 8,000 pounds of calibrated plates in here, just for
Oh,
the
wow.
powerlifters. Yeah, so they really like that. I think we have two double-sided squat racks full of those weights, and then we also got a lifting platform for them. And
Yeah,
hopefully, yeah, go ahead. I'm
you
sorry.
had quite a few racks, so
Yeah, so we have 7 total, and they're all double-sided. So we have 14, technically 14 racks. And but yeah, I mean, eventually the plan is to maybe hold some powerlifting events here. We have a lot of calibrated plates, and there's a lot of powerlifters that come around here. We have our sponsored athletes. They're mostly bodybuilders, but we have one powerlifter, and I'm honestly extremely excited for him because I think he's gonna break some records. He's
Oh,
already
that's
had
awesome.
some records under his belt, but I think he's gonna break some massive records.
That's super cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, the atmosphere, if we talk about that, like it's definitely a unique vibe in the gym with that like black and gold like theme, and even the dumbbells were gold. I've never seen gold dumbbells. Like the plates on the equipment that said Arsenal wearing gold. Like you guys really carried that gold theme all the way through. Like not to be crude, but like for anybody who hasn't been to the gym, even the urinals are gold. Like they carried that gold theme all the way through the gym. It was like a really cool and like a lot of attention to detail when it comes to the aesthetics of the gym.
Thank you, thank you. Actually, funny thing, the gold and black started with a piece of tile. When I first got the equipment, I saw this really cool golden. It's not even the one we have, but it was a really cool black and gold tile, and I showed it to my brother because we always took each other's opinions on stuff, and he was like, "Really, that's really cool." And then from that point on, I just went with it, and I started getting everything gold and black, and honestly they fit really, really well together,
Oh
So
yeah.
since we opened, I've seen at least 5 or 6 gyms that have came out with the same colorways, which I mean, it says that you're doing something that people are liking, and it's grabbing
Mhm.
consumers. So it's a great thing. But yeah, I mean, the vibe, honestly, this was a massive thing for me personally when we were opening, is just to have this welcoming atmosphere. Because most people think you go to a gym where you get all these big guys and the muscular girls walking around, and it's they feel intimidated and stuff like that. So we really, really, really wanted to focus on a welcoming atmosphere where you can come and you can really get after it, and everyone is still welcoming. If you need any help with anything, any pieces of equipment, our employees are there, our members are there to help. So it was a really, really success when it came to that vibe thing. So that's one thing that I was honestly very, very glad that we could achieve. Most people, I would say 95% of people that come here would agree with that. So we're definitely satisfied when it comes to the atmosphere here. And we like to blast music when we're here all day. We got a great sound system, and then we got the animal statues all over the place. So kind of fits the vibe of the animal paradise.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that next. Is that gigantic like gorilla with the squat bar right behind the front desk? I've shown that picture to a bunch of people and they're like, dude, is it really that big? I'm like, yeah, it's huge. Like,
Yeah, that thing is massive. We had to go through hell to get this thing in one piece because the factory did not want to ship this thing in one piece. And it started, honestly, I saw a mural when I was just, researching, putting designs together. And I saw this mural on the wall at some gym that kind of looked like that. And I was like,
mhm.
that's our mascot right there. That's our signature piece. So we sent
Nice.
it, we got some 3D designs of it. It cost a lot of money. It took about 7 grown men to get this thing out of the container when it arrived. But yeah, apparently we got it in one piece. The factory wanted to cut it up so and we can put it together. But I didn't want to see any seams or lines between the pieces, So we convinced them to get it in one piece. We got it, and it's been literally our signature, mascot
Oh yeah,
statue.
I mean, it's not something you're gonna see at any other gym. It's like it's really badass.
Thank you, thank you.
Um, and you also have like group fitness and stuff like that, which isn't typical for a bodybuilding gym. So you really are trying to encompass like a full range of people.
Correct. So, like I said, we have athlete camp. We do bodybuilding preps here. We have a team of about 10 individuals right now prepping for a show coming up soon. They all look great. I'm extremely proud of them, honestly, and they should do amazing coming up. We're sponsoring the show they're gonna do as well, and so it's gonna be a really cool day for everybody. We do athlete camps. I probably said that already a couple times. We do small group, we do big group. We do one-on-one, and we really pack our packages with a lot of stuff, So we put our packages. We have our Fit 3D scan, which is pretty much the closest you're ever gonna get to a DEXA scan. Unfortunately, I wanted to get a DEXA scan, but you need a doctor to prescribe it and a nurse to administer it, and it's a whole thing. So we got the closest best thing. And then we also have our plunge, so we bundle that in, and we give them a pretty good experience and a bang for their buck.
Nice. So I know you haven't even been open for a year yet, but have you had a chance to like take a breath and go, okay, this is what we want to do next? Or like, have you thought about, or did you already have like a plan for like, this is what's next?
Absolutely. That plan came up before we even opened. I try not to stop because let's just say I'm crazy. When I sit down and when it's quiet, I can't stop thinking. So I try to keep going. I try to keep moving all the time, So, yeah, we haven't been open for a year even, but, like I said, we had a great success with the concept. A lot of people have been reaching out. They want to franchise. They want to partner up on, different areas and stuff. And fortunately, it's a little early for us to franchise. So we're going to do a little bit by little bit, but we trademarked our name for supplements. We trademarked our name for gym equipment. We trademarked our name for gym facilities and for clothing. And when I say Animal Paradise is going to be a household name, it will, So Gymshark is known for clothes. Say, for example, Raw is known for supplements, Planet Fitness is known for gyms, Instead of going to different brands, we want to have it all under one roof. And that's the ultimate plan, Then we also have a plan on how many facilities we want to open within the next 10 years. That's not going to start yet. We're going to have to wait a little bit on that, but we have a pretty big plan, and I think we might have found our next location without giving away too much, but I think we might have a
How long out do you think the Animal Paradise 2.0 will be?
I want to say somewhere from 18 to 24 months. So a year and a half to 2 years. Yeah, it takes us.
That's a good amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, it takes us at least a year to do the build out. So this one was I learned a lesson here not to put as much construction in a place like how I did here. We did a lot of construction turning this place from a Toys R Us to the gym it is, especially just adding that protein bar up front, that cafe, and then doing all the stalls and the showers and the bathrooms. That took an intense amount of plumbing work. We had to cut concrete. The concrete's old school, so it was big slabs of concrete this big. It took us about I think 5 concrete trucks to fill it back in. So we did a lot of construction here. Thankfully, we didn't have to do too much in electricity because Toys R Us had pretty good electrical room, but the plumbing was massive for us. That's probably what pushed us, because originally the plan was to open sometime in July, August, and we ended up opening in September. And it's pretty much because of the plumbing. The plumbing really, really took a long time, a lot more than anticipated. So moving forward, we're probably going to be looking at, probably old gyms that closed, just so we can, speed up the build out a little bit. But
that way you've got the bathrooms already there. And
exactly. I mean, we're probably going to still add a little bit more, but it's a lot easier to add into the sewer line than to build a new one, So it's probably, I want to say a year gives us more than enough time to really do the build out. And then the next one is going to be even more, let's say, special.
Nice. And nowadays it takes a year to get equipment.
Yeah, I mean, our equipment here, so funny thing, usually people finish construction and wait on the equipment. I wanted to get that. The first thing we did was order that equipment, and it was ready in July, and I had them actually drop off the equipment while we were still doing construction, because I was not going to risk finishing construction and waiting on equipment. But it takes about 8 to 9 months for this equipment to get manufactured.
That's actually
go ahead.
That's actually pretty quick compared to what I've heard in some spots.
Well, I mean, different companies have different things. So, I mean, Prime, for example, they're known. I reached out to them. I wanted to get a couple of pieces from them, and their lead time was 52 to 58 weeks, which is about it.
Yeah,
So
Frank's crazy.
yeah, but Arsenal, the guys at Arsenal were really good. Atlantis, it's a wait. You get in line. You don't have a choice. But the guys at Arsenal really worked with us, and we tried to get this stuff as soon as possible. But yeah, equipment. A lot of people don't think about the equipment, man. Like I just got a couple treadmills last month, and just one of those treadmills is somebody's 12-year membership.
Wow.
So when you add it all up together, I mean, the equipment is very intensive, and these companies, they want their money upfront before they ship.
Hmm.
So you got to come up with all that money before they ship it out. So but we were
Yeah.
able, thank God, from the businesses that we had, we were able to finance it and fund it. So no complaints here. And for anybody that was watching that wants to open a gym, I'm not killing your dream, but don't bank on a bank giving you funding for your
Oh yeah,
first.
100%. Yeah,
It's just not
definitely.
gonna happen.
Hmm.
No banks try to give funding for gyms for their first one, at least. I mean, maybe after you prove a track record that you can make this thing happen, no banks will touch it. So we had to fund it out of pocket, and it was an intense capital, honestly.
Oh, I can imagine, especially like because it's not a small gym.
Yeah, it's 32,000 square feet.
Yeah, that's pretty huge for your first gym. I don't know many people who come right out of the gate and go, "Let's go 32,000 on gym one."
Yeah, so the goal, honestly, that's why I mean, we could have opened one a couple years ago, honestly, a little bit smaller and scaled from there, but I always wanted to have a bigger gym just so we can really have enough space to do everything we can. So like I said, we have that beauty room. We got the massive turf, like you said. We have massive locker rooms. I think each locker room has about 200 lockers in it, or even
Yeah.
250, something like that. We have steam rooms that are still being finished, hopefully very soon. We just started on them. We have saunas. We have a supplement shop that's 1,400 square foot in here. We have the cafe right in there. So we're able to put a lot of stuff. We have a posing room, a daycare, classroom. So we have our massage room, our plunge room. So we were able to fit a lot of stuff in there, thankfully. So if it was smaller, it would have been really, really limited on what we could do.
Hmm. And you have plenty of room to add. Like the gym's not like cramped either. Like you have plenty of room. If you see a piece that you're like, I got to have that piece, there's still plenty of room in the gym to add other pieces.
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, that's the plan. Funny you say that. Actually, you'll be surprised the amount of stuff I still have in my storage that is brand new that I haven't even opened. Not equipment, but like I have probably 5 brand new Rogue benches that I haven't even opened from the box yet. I have a pretty big appetite when it comes to equipment, so I ordered a lot of stuff. I probably have like 5 more sets of fixed barbells, both straight and curled. We
Hmm.
got a lot of weight trees. We got a couple dumbbell racks back there. We got a good amount of stuff, but it doesn't hurt. We'll use it for the next one.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, anytime you get a head start. So we talked a lot about like what you're doing really well, and you're doing a lot of things really well. Is there anything that as a gym owner, you're like, at this point, you're like, you know what? I wish I was doing this better.
Absolutely, absolutely. Probably just I mean, getting in the gym business as a new gym owner, there's a lot of things you learn. So we learned a lot about what we should have focused on a little bit more than others. So I put a lot of focus on the protein bar instead of focusing on other things, which I would have probably brushed off that a little bit. The training, a lot of people think personal training and getting clients for personal training is easy. It's extremely hard. It's extremely hard. So, and the problem with here, well, it's not a problem. It's a blessing and a curse because, like I said, we have pretty much 4 different businesses within the same. We have the supplement store, we have the cafe, the training, and the gym memberships. So, just trying to balance all these 4 together. I mean, we have a great team. We wouldn't have done any of this if it wasn't for my team. This has nothing to do with me. I could tell them or suggest ideas, but they're the ones that execute, really. So we try to do as much as we can in a small period of time. And knocking on wood, thank God we're profitable within 6 months. So
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
thank you. So we're doing something good. We're doing something that's working, but there's always opportunity for growth and growth and growth. We haven't even touched the surface on what we can maximize at the facility here, which is I wish I have five more of me in order to, help my team get things done faster, but we try to do it at our own pace, and the people are happy. We're always doing upgrades month after month, so no complaints really.
Yeah. Now, I don't get a chance to ask this question because most gym owners, as you probably know, have never owned a business before. The gym is their first business. They're trainers, or they're like gym bros, or they love the gym vibe and the gym culture, and this has been their dream, and that's their first business. Like, you're in a different position. Like, your family has owned multiple businesses before the gym. How much do you think that helped you be able to bite off this huge gym right away?
I mean, honestly, it's a night and day difference, So,
Mhm.
a little background about me: I went to school for computer science. Actually, I have a bachelor's degree from Rowan, but I studied in Rome for a semester, and I did a international business certificate, and that's when I fell in love with business and started really getting into business. And let's just say the only reason we're profitable within 6 months is because of the business experience. There's
Mhm.
no way this place could have profited within 6 months if I had no business knowledge beforehand, So,
Yeah.
and we wouldn't have been able to open it honestly, because injecting that much capital in a startup out of pocket is just, I mean, every single financial advisor told me absolutely not, and we were just like, me and my brother were, like I said, we really take each other's opinion on everything, and we work together, and we looked at each other and we're like, you know what, what's the worst case scenario? We made the money once, we'll make it again. Let's make
That's
it,
awesome.
so we pretty much went on all in with that, and it was definitely a good choice. We can't complain whatsoever. But yeah, the business experience absolutely mattered when it came to that. And I went actually to a conference in Orlando. It's hosted by Gym Launch. It's a company that Alex
Mhm.
Hermosi
Yeah.
launched, and majority of people there are gym bros or trainers that open studios and small gyms, and they're sitting there and they're digesting a lot of information. And nothing against the guys, they do amazing information. I learned a couple things, but the majority of time I was there, I just felt like I wasted my money, to be honest, because it's geared towards, personal trainers and gym bros that do want to have the dream of opening a gym, and they do it, and it's not as easy as they think. So they go to these conferences to learn more about it.
Mhm.
I was fortunate enough to have the family I have and have the knowledge and the schooling I had to be able to understand that a little bit earlier. Um, I kind of really like marketing and like, see different trends and different ideas, and that helped us a lot with getting off the floor, because, before we even opened, we had about 200 to 300 members before we haven't even opened the doors. So
Oh,
that
wow.
was a lot coming from marketing. We did a
Yeah.
lot of marketing before we really built up the hype, and people came. Some people didn't like it. They didn't think that's what they were to expect, and some people came and that was exactly what they were expecting, and they're loving it. So can't please everybody, but we try to please the
Right.
majority.
Well, that's one of the great thing about gyms is, like, it doesn't, like, once you get somebody into a locally owned gym, like, it may not be for them, but they'll never go back to corporate gym.
Exactly. That's my thing. I honestly think our biggest challenge, and going back to the original question that you had, our biggest challenge here has been the lack of privately owned gyms,
Hmm.
because when majority, I mean, the members that we have, we're still gaining members month after month, no complaints there, but majority of people that would come, say, from Planet Fitness, which is our biggest and main competitor really in this area, $60 a month to them is insane. You know,
Hmm.
they're like, $60? Are you crazy? And meanwhile, people that are going to gyms are like $60. Are you crazy? But in a totally different way.
Right. Yeah.
So that's been our biggest challenge, honestly, is just people wrapping their head around how much it would cost for a membership. But like I said, they're comparing to Planet Fitness, which is not really like a
It's
gym,
not.
kind of like get you by type of thing.
I don't even call it a gym. I call it the purple box.
I used to call it Barney's Playhouse, but let's not say that.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, to me, like I know a lot of people who have those memberships, but they have those memberships just to go do cardio because the bodybuilding gym they go to doesn't have enough cardio.
Correct.
So
I mean,
they're
that's
paying $10 to go do cardio at the purple box. But they're
exactly.
never going to work out there because it's a place where you get pizza on Tuesdays and cupcakes on Thursdays, and they don't want you to get in shape. It's
Exactly. I
insane.
mean, yeah.
That's a
So
whole other thing for me.
yeah, so that was our thing here. Honestly, was the cardio. I had to make a decision because I had a budget. Again, going time back to the business experience. So we had to budget everything in here, and I had a specific budget when it came to equipment. Period, and that's going to be including strength equipment, functional equipment, and cardio equipment. And I had to choose whether I'm gonna have to spend $100,000 less on the strength equipment or spend and put it in the cardio or vice versa. And I think we opened up with about 5 treadmills, 2 stairmasters, a few ellipticals, a few rowers, but a good like a variety. We just didn't have nearly as much as Planet Fitness has in treadmills. So again, comparing to Planet Fitness because the area doesn't know. So you can't really blame the consumer because they're unaware.
Right.
So they came and they're just like, you guys don't have any cardio equipment, which is comparing. Yeah, we pretty much don't. And we're looking to add more and more as we go. But this equipment is extremely expensive. So
Yeah.
like, I mean, our treadmill is about 10 grand. So
Mhm.
I just ordered 2. One of them arrived not working. It's been sitting on the floor for 30 days. And I'm waiting for them to come pick it up and refund the money. And it still hasn't happened. So
Wow.
things they take an intense amount of time for these things to happen. For shipping and for returns and for refunds and for repairs. It takes a long time.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating, honestly, because your members come in here and think you're not doing anything. Meanwhile, you're on the phone every day arguing, but they don't see what happens on the backside. They see what happens on the floor when they come every day and there's a brand new treadmill that's not working. It's kind of embarrassing, honestly.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. One of the things I always ask gym owners before we finish up is, and you already mentioned like don't count on the bank if you're going to open a gym, but is there another piece of advice or some other advice that you would give to someone who wants to own a gym or is thinking about owning a gym?
To be honest, it's gonna be depending on how much capital they have. I would probably, like I said, I'm fortunate enough to be able to have put in that much capital, but in another world, if I didn't have that much capital, I would have probably started with a studio. And that's good. That's been lately, that's been the trend that's been going around. It's slowed down a little bit with inflation because everyone is trying to grab every dollar they can. But probably starting next year, 2026, that's going to be the big thing again. And small private studios are massive because people feel like it's more intimate and you don't need trainers to run them because if you're a gym bro or a trainer that knows how to train people, you can just do that and maybe hire one more person. So the payroll is going to be extremely low. The overhead is going to be extremely low. And margins are going to be a lot higher. You're not going to have to wait months after months after months to get profitable. So my advice would be start small and build your way from there. Unless you have an intense capital and you don't mind waiting months until you turn profitability, I would probably start small and build from there for sure.
Yeah, that's one of the things we always recommend. Like, start out small, don't overdo it. Like, make sure you got a secondary source of income and don't depend on the gym.
Yeah, see that's one thing I don't agree with personally.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, one personally in any business I ever done, if you're not ready to put 110% in that and nothing else, and all your eggs in that basket, and really give it your all, I don't think personally that's never my advice. I say if you're going into a new business, you should put 110% of your focus in that and just try to make it work as much as possible. You know, if this place wasn't profitable, I would have grabbed the mattress and slept here all night long. And in the gym, I would have made it happen. You know, instead of going getting another job and doing that, no one is gonna run your business better than you. That's period. You know,
Right.
You can train people, you can have them as good as they can, but eventually you have to be there and you have to run it and you have to give it your all. So I would just really, really focus on it and make it the best you can possibly make it.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people, like a lot of gym owners, could learn from your and your brother's example. Like I didn't get a chance to meet your brother, but I'm sure you guys are the same. Just from listening to you. I actually, like, when I came to the gym, I actually like asked the desk person twice if you were the owner, because you don't carry yourself like the owner. You carry yourself like you're just you're just somebody who works at the gym. I saw you like putting plates away. I saw you moving dumbbells around. I saw you like cleaning up everywhere in the gym. Like, and that's the kind of thing that we love to see from gym owners who just aren't afraid to like dig in there and set the example. Because, you know, when the members see you doing that, then they're like, wow, like Peter's cleaning up. I just need to clean up my shit because Peter's over here cleaning up my stuff.
Well, honestly, that comes
the culture.
Yeah, so honestly, that comes. So before I got into business, I managed a few businesses. And my thing, I always say, you want to be the boss, you got to pay the price. And the price is you got to set an example and you got to take the blame for everything, period. You know, so if you want to be the boss, you got to take the blame and you got to show us an example. So I will never ask somebody to either buy a product or do something that I personally wouldn't try the product myself or take it, or I wouldn't do it. You know, I always tell my employees, like I have my janitors sometimes when they can, like for example, unclog the toilet. I'm there in the back with them with gloves on. I'm unclogging the toilet for him, you know? So I have no problem working because he's never going to try to do it again if I don't show him that I will do it too, dude. There's not a problem. There's no shame in work whatsoever, you know? I work from stocking shelves and printing t-shirts on a boardwalk to owning a multi-million-dollar gym, you know? And that's because there's no work. There's no one better than work. No matter what the work is, if you think you're better than work, you're probably not going to be a boss. And that's just, you know, the reality of it, you know. If your main goal is to open a business just so you can sit back, relax, and watch your employees, you got it coming for you.
Yep. You know, 100%. Yeah. No, this has been great. I appreciate it. I appreciate the time and the hospitality showing when I came to the gym. And we look forward to seeing what comes next for Animal Paradise. Sounds like it's going to be exciting.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Definitely stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram, on our social media, Animal Paradise Gyms, and our supplement store. We're hoping to roll out our supplement line very soon. So Animal Subs on Instagram as well. Follow us and stay tuned. We got some really, really cool stuff coming up.
Yeah, and we'll put all the links down in the comments, and keep a lookout.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you having me on.
All right. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more great content.